I was raised without the gospel. And so I lived and I've made horrible decisions and I've seen the consequences of those decisions. And now having the gospel and having the light is like, okay, I've experienced those things. Like, I don't want to experience that anymore.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Saints Unscripted. I'm Wilson, and I'm one of your hosts today, and I'm with two very special guests.
My name is Isiah.
My name is Christian.
And they're with a channel called Brothaz in the Foyer. Could you guys just tell me a little bit about yourselves?
I have been a baptized member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints for now 11 years. I'm a convert of two parents that were baptized prior to my birth in Kansas City, Missouri. And so now I reside here in the great state of Utah.
You're in the valley. It's a good place to be, right?
It is. It is. It really is. But I met my wife out here after returning home from a mission in 2014.
Nice. Where'd you serve?
I served in Jamaica Kingston mission.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah. And we lived here for about 3 years and went to California, did a quick stint there, and had two boys. So I have two boys that were born out in California, and now we're back here in Utah. We've been back for about 2 years now.
Nice.
And so by trade, I am a realtor here in Utah, and I've been doing that for about 3 years and love it. Absolutely love it. And some just little hobbies that I like are basketball and reading and homebody. I am a super homebody. So
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm from Port-au-Prince, Haiti.
Mhm.
I'm also a convert. We came here. My sisters came here first, and then I think a couple years after, me and my brother, we came after, and then we got baptized into the church, and after that, I met my wife at UVU. I almost say UVSC because they used to call you UVSC back then, but and then I've been married for about 5 years. I got one boy, and I got a girl on the way right now. So
Dang, congrats.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Due in August.
So today we're going to be going into a bit of a discussion. And the question we're talking about today is something that I've been thinking about for a long time. So I'm really looking forward to it. But I'm wondering, what's your guys' take on how do you balance your faith with all the other obligations we have in life?
This is for me personally super personal because I have not always had the gospel in my life. A great majority of the time of my life, I had no type of relationship with God.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I did have my come to me time, right, or come to Jesus moment, I found the church just through a walk of searching for a purpose. Long story short, it was a Wikipedia page that enlightened me on what the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints believes in.
Wow.
And when I got that belief, I further deepened my search into the faith.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing that also my parents did have a background in the faith, but at the time I didn't quite know about it is what initially led me to research it. But when I found it, it was like, wow, like this is a way of life.
Yeah.
And so faith isn't just for me something that you believe, but it's something that you do and that you live. And so to prioritize, my family and to prioritize my work and trying to be a good husband, trying to be a good father, and if having the church calling and trying to prioritize that, it's just what I do, And so for me, it's a matter of taking all those things that I've been taught, and that I study through scriptures and that I learned through prayer, and just making that a part of my daily walk and habit. So it no longer becomes an idea of or a thing of, what I believe or should I do this or should I not do that. It's just now, okay, I know what to do because of what the gospel teaches. And so I strive every day to be as much as I can like Jesus Christ. And so it's literally just, striving every day, waking up every day, trying to be in that mindset to do those good things.
For me, this question was actually kind of odd. I was actually outside and trying to come up with like a way to answer it. So I was like,
I got you.
trying to hear. Growing up in Haiti, like I would say like there's a thing says like we live day by day, meaning it's like, whatever happens, it happens, so it's um when things go bad in Haiti, just kind of everybody always says, you leave it in God's hands, because
Yeah.
there's nothing you can do, so I'm always like the type of person like that's why it's hard for me because I enjoy my bad days just as much as my good days because for me like my bad days what makes things go slower, makes the days go by slower. So that way, like you get to live I feel like I live a longer life and just kind of enjoy the little things more, so especially with the work I do now, it's definitely hard, especially for a lot of people because of the economy.
Okay.
And a lot of people that I talk to is just say, hey, there's nothing I can do, you just say, hey, like, makes me appreciate, like, with my fact what we have more and just kind of tell them, there's nothing you can do. You just kind of leave it on God's hand, just kind of pray and, and just enjoy that bad day. I know it's messed up to say, but yeah, you just gotta keep going, because, when you're having fun, life goes by faster, but when you're having a boring day, it goes by a little slower. So you get to enjoy that moment a little bit more. So
Yeah, well, I love that perspective because I feel like that's something because obviously when we want life to be enjoyable, we want it to be happy, but without those bad days, we can't really appreciate what's good in life.
yeah,
That's what like Second Nephi 2 is all about, right? In the Book of Mormon. So I think that's like an awesome perspective. I
Mhm.
feel like I'm just like one thing that I'm kind of getting from this is just that like, especially as I love what you're touching on too, where like in life, if you're adding faith to everything you're already doing, right? Like being a good father and your work and everything, like your social life, then like that's just another thing that you have to balance. But whenever it's like the way you live, whenever it's your lifestyle and that's just what you apply to everything, then it's not another thing to balance, but it's just like the way that you go through life.
Most
I know. I
definitely.
thought that was really cool.
This is against everything we teach, right? As far as the agency, what I'm going to say takes away your agency. But no, what I
You're
mean,
on dangerous ground
yeah,
here.
I know, right? No, but it's a good thing. And when I say that, I mean like, and when I say that, I want to be clear. It's like when you become more like Christ, there's just certain things that you don't want to do, and it's not because it's not enticing or it's not something that's fun or entertaining, but it's just like you know, and you just feel like, hey, if I do this, this could put me, up against my relationship with the Savior, and then it's like the harm that can come from just like making bad choices. Like that's my whole testimony personally, I feel, because I was raised without the gospel. And so I lived and I've made horrible decisions and I've seen the consequences of those decisions. And now having the gospel and having the light is like, okay, I've experienced those things. Like I don't want to experience that anymore. So it's like I'm like living that word. It's like when all the other apostles and disciples walked away from Jesus after he gave the teaching of the bread of life,
hmm
and they walked away from him, he looked at his apostles and he's like, will you leave me also? And he's like, well, where else will we go? And I feel the same way. It's like I've already been there. So like where else will I go? Like I might as well do and live the best I can, and actually do faith and not just believe, because of where I've been. Yeah.
because I also, like like you said, it also strengthen your family too as well. If you just, like with this, like with relationship wise, like not every marriage is perfect, so you're gonna argue and stuff like that. I think that, the gospel brings you closer, and actually, like brings some type of stability there, especially if things not going the way you want it to. So I
hmm
really like that.
Most definitely.
Well, it's true. Like
Yeah.
it's like what President Nelson is taught, where living the gospel makes life easier, but it doesn't make life easy.
Yeah.
But it helps, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as you guys both mentioned, right? You guys are both parents, and you've talked about how like you've almost started to like root out this desire for evil that you've been changed because of your relationship with Christ. I'm just kind of curious that as parents, how is that something that you guys have tried to teach your children, and how is that something you've tried to emulate with them?
Yeah. Both of my boys right now, my oldest is turning 6, well, turned 6 yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And my youngest is right behind him. He's 4. And I'm at a stage right now where me and my wife, we are, I don't want to say struggling, but we're definitely finding ways to like teach them to emulate the teachings that we have in like the simplest ways possible, right?
Well, I
But
mean,
like
when you're young, like focus going everywhere.
Yeah,
Right? It can be tough. I
exactly.
got you.
Yeah, it can be very tough to like instill those principles that we've come to know in them. And so like the best way we found is literally just doing the basic things and making time for the basics, like family prayer, making time to read with them. You know, gospel videos, mostly primary videos, right? So like that way we're showing them the things that we have been exposed to in the gospel, and then doing our best to live it. So like as husband and wife, obviously we're not perfect, right? No marriage is perfect, but we do our best to protect our children from our problems or our issues that arise. And so we don't yell in front of them. If there's things that we need to vent, we make sure it's a private matter, and then we keep our sacred time sacred. And so we say the name Jesus a lot, so they know who Jesus is, and we point to Jesus when we see Jesus out and around, so they know
who he is,
who
right?
he is and what his characteristics like physically. So yeah, anywhere we go, if they see Jesus, they know who he is. And so eventually when they get of age, we can go a little deeper, and we can start teaching them things about what faith means and what repentance means. And you're going to make mistakes. And when you do make mistakes, like, don't feel bad, because that's why Jesus is here to help you. And so, yeah, we just start with like those little basic things where they're at this really delicate age. And hopefully as they grow, they'll stick to it.
I love that. And I know, if I can share my experience,
Okay.
I don't have kids, right? But
Yeah.
that is something that my parents really tried to emphasize in our home, was those daily moments of scripture study and of prayer. And I'm sure that for them, it may have seemed exhausting gathering the family together, right? The kids are running around. We're getting ready for school in the mornings. Like it's hectic, right? And I'm sure it took a lot of effort to sit down and to read a chapter in the scriptures and to pray together every night when everyone's doing all these different things. But for me, now that I'm on my own and I'm looking back, I'm so grateful for those times. And I recognize how much effort they put in. So it probably seems like a hassle at times. It seems like it's a lot of effort, but I know it's going to pay off for them, because laying that foundation has been crucial for me. I know it's going to be crucial for them too.
I mean, for me, my son is like 1, so I'm just beginning. So I need to take some pointing from Isiah, because my son doesn't cry, but he screams, So it's like when we at church, like you say, we just like when they're praying, like we trying to cross his arms, and I trying to hold his eyes closed. I don't know if I'm supposed to be doing that, but like he screams, like everybody's just laughing at church, because like he's not crying, but he's like screaming. So, I mean, I always teach my son like to love always, just to use his heart to like, to make a decision instead of his mind, So I try to, maybe he copies me, like, so it's I mean, he always sees me like, help if I love helping people. So I mean, like, hopefully like he sees me and he wants to do that too, So that's, I'm just starting, so I don't know.
Well, it's true.
So like it's, I don't know what I'm doing is working, but we'll find out when he's like 2,
Yeah, well, I think you bring up something important that both of you guys touched on, where it's like, it's also the way we live. Like there's so much you can teach them, but like you said, like they're watching you.
Yeah.
Like I looked up to my dad so much, and I saw how he ministered to my family and to my mom with such Christ-like kindness, that's something that I want to emulate, something that I want to do.
Yeah.
So that as you guys are doing that they're going to notice.
Yeah.
They're going to pick up on that.
My wife does a lot too. She
sure.
prays, she says Jesus all the time, and so it's I think that's good. I saw her doing that, but I didn't notice what she was doing. But I guess when you said it, I was like, oh, okay, that's what she's doing.
There you go. Well, thanks for an awesome discussion, guys.
Yeah,
that was great. I feel like I learned a lot. If you have any extra thoughts, go ahead and throw them down in the comments below, and be sure to check these guys out. They have a YouTube channel, podcast, and Apple Podcasts. It's Brothaz in the Foyer. But thank you guys for watching.